Take 10. Like Tim Hortons, take 10. Not that I've done 10 takes. I've done 12. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cares. You are watching You Don't Scare Me. Today we're going to be checking out top 10 scary ghost videos for intense goosebumps by Top 5 Ghosts. Nick and I have been talking recently about going back and doing some paranormal investigations IRL again. If you guys haven't seen those before, it's a good time to subscribe. It's a good time to hit the like button, sort of get our channel in your feed. But we do paranormal investigations in real life together, obviously. The first one we did was St. Joseph Cemetery in Guelph, Ontario. The second one we did was the Crown Cemetery in Puslinch, Ontario. And then the third one we did was we went back to St. Joseph's. If you guys want a good laugh and a fun time, I would check out our Crown Cemetery one. That's the one I'm most proud of because both Nick and I were really high up on caffeination. And so we were very excited and very energetic in that one. That's the kind of energy we're going to be trying to bring to our future investigations, where we're going to lean into a lot of comedy when it comes to it. We do have serious notes, and we do take the job seriously when we're looking for ghosts. We are trying to prove that ghosts are real or not real, obviously. And then if we do any sort of editing or whatever to invent ghosts and stuff like that, we're going to release a second video, and we're going to be very transparent about it. If we put fake ghosts in our films, we're going to have a second episode where you can go and see how we did each of the effects, because that's what we are. We're like the people who tell you how the magic tricks are worked or are done. So in any case, that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're going to be checking out some scary ghost videos. Today is Friday, February 28th, 2025, for those of you who care. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into this one. Face one. Face. There I am. Yeah, so I'm not going to be doing the annotations on this anymore. I will probably end up doing that in the future. I just haven't really had a good reason to over the last couple of episodes, so I haven't even set up the board. It's somewhere else. So if you guys are enjoying that drawing, let me know. I'll bring it back into the channel, but for the moment, we're just gonna check this stuff out. Nick has a different format that he's doing, where he's showing the entire video and then he's stopping to do his own annotations, or his own like explanations and stuff. I think that's probably a better format. So here's what I'm gonna do. It's a better, he likes it. He thinks it's a better format. So why don't we do this? Let's go with gameplay, no face. We'll watch the clip and then we'll talk about it. Started playing my chill beats. My bad. Still have the vertical camera set up. So
as the sound grew louder, it resembled the infamous cries of La Llorona, the weeping woman of legend.
Yeah, so there's like no ghost here. This is just, I don't even know how this format's going to work. But there's no ghost there. That's just the sound of somebody either weeping in the distance or the sound of a wild animal. A lot of times when you hear the La Llorona crying, it's actually like, or even like the screams in the night, they're usually like other animals. Foxes make a lot of like these really loud guttural sounds, like a man screaming can often be just a fox. If you guys have ever hunted fox, I haven't, but I've seen enough to know that those are not ghosts. But yeah, go look it up. In this case, it's just somebody's wailing in the street, or there's some kind of strange noise, but it's not really a ghost. Yeah, I didn't really like that. So I'm not really sure how this formatting is gonna work. I gotta really figure out the swing of this. In fact, let's just keep doing the way I do it. No, actually, no, because then the ghost video, the ghost stuff, the paranormal stuff happened right behind me. All right, let's see it again. So it looks like, so it looks like somebody threw something onto the screen, or something fell over and fell onto the stage.
As the hosts and guests were deep in conversation, an object suddenly,
it looks like a stage light
with no apparent source.
It looks like a stage light has fallen on the screen there.
In shock. Some speculated it was a technical mishap.
It was.
Others believed it could be something more unexplainable.
No, No, that's a
group of villagers
that's a
gathered
technical
in
issue.
awe as
That
they
was
recorded
a
mysterious light in the night
a
sky.
stage light that had fallen over. I'm sticking with this format. I like it better. Sorry. Okay, so that's a laser pointer. Sounds like they're at like a rave or something.
Ahora, vamos a tratar de ser racionales.
At first, it appeared as a glowing orb, but then it flared up, shifting into a bizarre hexagonal shape before bursting into an intense flash of light.
Okay.
The eerie transformation
I can't hit the pause button that way. So let's just do the face for a minute. Okay, so what's actually happening here is that you can see a green laser going off the screen. I would wager or hazard a guess that that laser is either a guidance system or some kind of either a laser from whatever craft is projecting light towards them, or something along those lines. Maybe they're at a festival and people are shining laser pointers. So what you're seeing here is likely a helicopter or something with a spotlight on it. And the reason that it appears hexagonal and then it blooms out is because the person is focusing all of their camera's attention, their camera's focus, on that one point of light. And so what ends up happening is that when the light actually, like, it's sweeping across the environment, when it makes contact with the camera lens, it's going to bloom out rapidly. Now, prior to this, you'll see a hexagonal, a hexagonal shape. That's not, the craft is not hexagonal. Okay, the lens aperture is interpreting the sort of the pin source of light as a hexagon, because maybe that there's a certain amount, like a certain mirrored array inside of the camera that is blooming the point of light out to be a hexagon. Now, I know it's a very rudimentary understanding of this technology that I have, but go look up the Hubble telescope taking pictures of binary stars, or a star. The Hubble telescope versus the James Webb telescope. So the Hubble telescope, if I recall correctly, has 6 mirrors on it, but the James Webb telescope has 8. Or inversed, or a different number of mirrors. But when you look at the pictures of stars taken with the James Webb telescope, it's almost like an 8-sided star. It like blooms out and has points of light going off in 8 different directions, right? Versus the original telescope, the Hubble telescope, which has 6, because there's only 6 mirrors on it. So it's actually blooming out to the direction of the mirrors that are focusing all that light into the lens. And it could be a very similar system here. It doesn't mean that it's a UFO or a paranormal thing. It's most likely, most likely just an artifact of the camera picking up the amount of light that's being shone into it. So nobody's stunned. You can even see when the focal point where it like shrinks in. The intense flash of light is literally just too much light being, especially when you're focusing on something like this. You can even see there's a little tiny circle inside of this object. That's your point of light right there. It could even be a laser pointer that's hexagonal, right? And then that laser pointer shines straight into the camera aperture, and then see, because the camera right now is trying to capture as much light as possible. It's in a low light situation, right? So think about night sight. You look up at the stars with your phone, it switches over to night sight, and you'll have to hold your phone still as it takes the pictures, because it's grabbing as much light as possible, and then it's keeping the iris or keeping the shutter open to pull in as much light as possible to get higher frames of reference, right? So like if you look in the night sky and all these pinpricks of light for like stars, you take one picture of it, you're only capturing one frame of those lights. So you're not getting all of the light, you're only getting the light that's entering the camera's aperture at that precise moment. If you leave the camera aperture open and allow it to expose all of the pieces, the little tiny flecks of light that are hitting the iris, then you'll get a more advanced picture. Often it'll be very very bright. You'll see all the different stars, because every pinprick of light that's coming towards you is being absorbed by your camera. So in this case, the camera is in an exposure setting, which is to say it's trying to take in as much light as humanly possible to get the clearest picture possible, right? And so then when the light, this laser or whatever shoots over it, when that camera gets the light, it is now what's considered 100% overexposed, because all of this light that's suddenly entering the aperture is drawing out, it's washing out the rest of the image.
The eerie
I'm
transformation
not really sure why you'd bother even covering that. It's so obviously not a UFO. It's just an airplane or a helicopter that shone its light directly at the cameraman. Mm-hmm. A lot of these are very tongue-in-cheek. I think this is a cultural difference in
phone.
European cultures or Asian cultures like this, which I believe looks a bit like Indonesia or something like that. In these particular areas of religious, or communal, or it is religion. Okay, they put a very large emphasis and a much more like they're much more grounded in spiritualism. In American culture, the Holy Ghost is the spirituality, right? The Christianity believes in certain levels, and what I'm trying to say is there's a bunch of different reasons why Americans don't amp up the spook factor in these videos. When you see an American, what they're doing is they're doing the subtle suspense, because in our cinema, horror is usually you build up crescendo, like you build up to this level of fear. You get that tension rising, and then you act on the tension. And so, like, Nick has a wonderful set of videos that are that describe the jump scares and the way that horror and like they're all relevant to what we do. He's talking about how in horror movies, how jump scares and how music builds tension and all this kind of stuff, because that's a lot of what you're seeing in these videos it's American cinema, right? They're all following the same logic as a director would or a producer would when producing a horror movie. So if you go and watch those videos, you'll get a better insight into how these systems, or how these films are directed. So in American culture, it is that buildup and then the release, the buildup of tension when you're like, who's around the corner, and then all of a sudden there's a jump scare. So we do that in our cinema. We do that in our ghost videos. You'll see like Zach Baggins will be like, utter silence, building up the tension, and then a noise. And you're like, oh, what was that? Right? And you think, oh, it's a ghost. So that's how we project or produce ghost videos in America, right? So a lot of them follow that same rhyme or reason. When people are filming, candidly filming their little ghost things, there's always something that pops out of nowhere, or something that happens that sort of like catches you off guard. And that's how you know a lot of these are staged, because they have a certain production value. In European, Asian cultures like these, they're much more grounded in spirituality. They believe in the soul. They believe in ghosts. They believe in all this stuff. Half of Americans believe in ghosts, but nearly 80% of all Indonesian cultures believe in ghosts, right? They all have a level of spirituality. They all pray at altars and stuff like that. Mexican or Spanish descent also believes in ghosts. They have their Day of the Dead. They have their different, like, they go and celebrate their the lives of their loved ones in the cemeteries in the middle of the night. And we all think that's super strange, because in American culture it's Christianity and the Holy Ghost, right? So worshiping false idols is something to the effect of believing in ghosts is like worshiping false idols or something like that. There is a video online that sort of explains the cultural differences between ghosts. So when you get to these production levels, these videos that are filmed in Asia and different parts of the Middle East and stuff like that, they all have this same pattern where you don't have to convince them that there is a ghost, because everybody believes that there are ghosts everywhere. What you have to convince them of is the threat or the activity of the ghost, because they already have a predisposition to believing in ghosts. So you don't have to convince them that they're real to then give them the entertainment. So in this case, every time you see a European or an Asian or a whatever culture this is, a video from here, it's always a door slamming, a door ripping open, things being thrown everywhere, so much poltergeist activity, and then brooms falling over and people laughing and like things, you know, because their production value, their belief, their Bollywood style, over the top action is on play. They're very entertaining, but again, the reason that I discredit them and the reason I debunk them like this is because they are fraudulent. They are trying to convince you or tell you, basically, they're trying to monetize, you know, tricking you into thinking that ghosts exist. So you come back and you keep coming back to their videos, and they're charlatans is what they are. I don't think that ghosts exist. It's not really a factor. You know, there are just so many reasons why I don't believe that ghosts exist. And there's so many credible reasons why ghosts don't exist. I've been to weird places. I've been to cemeteries at night. The only thing that catches me in the dark is myself, right? I would love to be proved wrong, but that's just the way it is, right? So when Nick and I go out to do our paranormal investigations, we're trying to prove to ourselves with firsthand accounts, with firsthand information, with firsthand evidence that ghosts are real. And at this point, like, we're not convinced. So take it with a grain of salt when you look at these kind of things. Only ever look at them as entertaining things, and then never be coerced into subscribing to a channel that presents itself fraudulently to convince you that they're being haunted. It's like the guy who cries. You know, he's like, this is a guy, he's like crying because he can hear them calling for help and all this stuff like that. He's pandering to you, and he's using this like sympathetic aspect to get you to subscribe to his channel so that he can get more, you know, views and earn money. But that's the issue I take with it, is that I would love for these things to be real. I want the scientific principle to be applied to all of these things. And so many, there are probably, if ghosts are real, there are probably hundreds of videos out there that are being swept under the rug because they're just not convincing enough, because they're not amped up enough, you know, they're not cinema enough for us. And those are the real pieces of data that we are not able to find, or are not able to retrieve, because they're hiding underneath of the rug, when so many of these like AAA studios are producing friggin' BS, you know, videos. I'd like to see more of those, and I want to create a foundation of, like, you know, actual data to determine whether or not ghosts are real. And if they are real, fantastic. That's great news for me.
No explanation. Just an eerie silence as the door stood ajar.
It's a big nothing burger is what it is.
Noise.
Okay, so eerie noises don't mean anything to me. If there's no ghosts, there's nothing. All he's gonna hear is they're gonna hear like a slam or something. There's someone else talking in another room. We're gonna move on. These guys are the same thing. They're
weird noises, and soon spot a woman figure performing a ritual.
Yeah, so again, like, this is for entertainment purposes, but they pass them off as real. They're not in any danger because the people are paid actors. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's just too much. Anyways, too much focus on that. These are what I'm talking about. These, oh, interesting. Okay, so this is more credible. Again, this is not cinema. This is not a somebody filming, you know.
Just moments before the structure collapsed, a white figure appeared to move through one of the open spaces. The footage leaves many wondering.
I'm going to guess. So when the building starts to drop, it seems to have enough mass that the inertial force retains, like the building falls faster than it, so it would have to catch up to it. So it suggests that whatever that is has mass. However, bear in mind that the entire structure is being demolished. Okay, that is likely just a puff of concrete smoke from an initial explosion shortly before the building collapses. There's nothing paranormal about this.
Caught in the final
it's super interesting, but how quickly the building collapses after that puff of smoke comes up, 100% that's what it is.
On a city street, when nature delivered a terrifying surprise.
This looks like oh. Boom! Wow. Struck the building right behind them.
As they
Great timing.
Camera, a massive lightning strike.
What was the title of this video? Scary ghost videos for intense goosebumps?
With a blinding flash.
I've not seen any ghosts yet.
Both the reporter and the crew.
This is not a ghost video. This is an act of God. This is you know, it's not a ghost. I don't know why you would.
Was home alone when he
it's a little this scary ghost videos is a little
surroundings, scanning the empty rooms.
Subversive? I don't know. Maybe this is a ghost video. It'll be the second ghost video. The first one was just the good peeking, the peekers. I think this is a very common thing is the peekers. It's not to say that they're not real. They could very much be real. It is a phenomenon that quite a few people have seen. If I saw that though, I would call the police instantly and say there's a person inside of my house. You have video footage of something peeking around your corner, you're well within your rights to call the police. Yeah, I have there's an intruder in my house. There's a physical person inside of my house trying to look at me around the corner. I need you to come quick. They will come because they're there to zip up your body bag. But you'll have the police presence at the very least. I'm like half paying attention to a lot of these things. My attention is on the video and not what I'm saying, so a lot of what I'm saying is probably getting confusing. Sorry about that. There's a rock falling. That's a nice property. Is that an abandoned property or is that a... It's an abandoned property. But look at the swimming pool they have. It's a shame, like so many of these buildings, I would live in this building, no problem. You know, ghosts be damned. I know that the problem with living in schools and stuff like that is that you have the hydro is extremely high. It's really difficult to heat and to maintain the extensive amounts of ductwork and extensive amounts of like piping. Which is why a lot of these like schools and stuff like that always have maintenance people on deck, because there are kilometers of pipes that will go out. So if you ever think about moving into a school, that was weird, it was all cut off. If you ever think about moving into a school or an old abandoned building like that, consider the fact that all the pipes are going to probably need to be replaced, and then you also have to flush hot water through the entire school or to the entire building. It is very expensive. It's just a light on. What is he talking about? The black shadow in the bottom right corner there. I was pointing out the street light. Oh, I'm startled from behind me. Turns around, it's gone. Okay, well. You are outside in a see, it's gone. That's again, that's classic cinematography. That's a classic jump scare. So the black shape being gone now is to reinforce the fact that there was a person there, or a sentient entity. And his diversion by turning behind him gives his buddy the opportunity to get out of the space and to raise the stakes, raise the you know, I'm not hearing anything at all. I'm wearing an earbud, it's right in my ear. I've got omnidirectional sound, so I can hear everything.
Later on,
the fact of the matter is that, yeah, so this dark figure in the corner here is one of his friends. He's basically just amping up the opportunity, or the attention, by saying there's a person here, and you're like, it could just be a a blanket or something, and then oh, what's this behind me? And then he goes back and it's gone. It's a diversion. It's a diversion to convince you that there was an entity there that is no longer there. It's classic. It's not a ghost.
Something walking in a distance.
Once again, I have to explain the very simple principle of human emotion, a human fight or flight. Most people will freeze up when something happens. If there's a noise behind them, they might jump out of their skin. But what they don't do is they don't go, huh? What's that behind me? They will tense up, ready to fight, you know? For me, I will, all my muscles tense up, and I will literally go to defend myself, to protect my vital areas, because I'm a human being. I don't think about looking at what it is with my camera. I think I will literally drop my camera and go into a defensive position because I'm anticipating an attacker, you know? So that's another point against a lot of these videos. When you're looking at them, a lot of them will do this sort of their hand in front of the camera, and they're like, you know, like a first person, where they're like, you know, oh, hand, you know, object, hand, instead of just like picking up the object, you know. A lot of them will do this thing where they like put their hand forward and they're like shaking as they're reaching towards the doorknob, you know. When you're filming normally, you're holding the camera like this, and if you need to open the door, you reach down, you open the door, you know, not bring it up to my face, show my hand, raise the tension, and then open the door. So again, like, those are certain cues that you're looking for. This guy, he's not showing his hands, obviously, but he is using the camera as his eyes, and he is looking back and forth, which it belies to me that he is not fearful of the situation he's in, and he has to know there's no threatening aura that's causing him to be on edge, because he's freely moving his limbs. They're all loosey-goosey. He's moving around, he's looking at things, and he's pointing things out. If I saw that person in the distance, I'd put my camera down. Or if I was like convinced that it was a ghost, that person would be in my view 24/7. I would never look away. And if something came up behind me, I'd be like this. But my camera would stay focused on it, because I'm not worried about filming the thing behind me. I'm worried about the thing behind me hurting me, right? And so again, like, it's that kind of that simple lack of human preservation, the monkey brain, the predator brain, the whatever, the prey brain, that like convinces us to, like, you know, tense up. The goose pimples that you get, it's the same thing. It's a fight or flight reaction. When you have anticipating danger or you feel threatened, your hair will stand up on end. The goose pimples will show up, and your hair will stand on end. It's a remnant of when we were monkeys, or when we were primate, or whatever we were, to have all our fur stand on edge, to puff us up, to make us look bigger and intimidating, so that we don't get hurt, right? And so things that are attacking us back off. And so all these different sort of styles, or different parts of our body or mind that are trying to protect us, are not on display in these videos. They're very much animated and directed, you know. I don't know if any of that made sense, but that's exactly what I'm trying to say, is like, he's showing the audience. So his primary is he's showing the audience. He's amping up the fear and tension to the audience. And then he's also, see, he keeps like really quickly panning down. He's trying to startle you. He's trying to jump scare you, you know? These little cuts are also probably just time. Video's been cut for time. But you can easily hide a lot of stuff in there. See again. It's just, yeah, and then he's gonna hear a noise behind him. Watch. Something's gonna startle him behind him. Oh, the door's closing, yeah. Confirmed. Go kick the door. They do that all the time. I love that. When they kick the door. Shauma! I think is what they say. Shauma! Oh, we're just glancing over that one. This is where the shape was, I think. I often say, like, if I found a building like this that's like super nice, like, it's obviously a very well established building, it's very well preserved at this point, I would 100% be squatting in this in this house. Like if I was homeless, this is prime real estate. All I have to do is sweep up the floor, put up a curtain, maybe go to the Home Depot or wherever and buy a door lock, and then, you know, make it a nice livable place. Like I don't know why people don't do this more often. You know, that being said, though, it's very possible that all the ghosts that people are seeing inside these buildings are they're squatters. Sorry, there's a dog in the car seat in the seat. What's the oh.
Upon closer inspection, there was no one outside or inside the car who could have caused the reflection.
You mean other than the person who's sitting right here? That's weird. This person sitting right here. Okay. One of a good principle to talk about with this last clip before I wrap this up is that mirrors reflecting in different, it's a different direction. Okay. There's probably a person in the back seat or a dog or something that you're not seeing that's being reflected in the mirror there. If the image that we're supposed to be seeing here is supposed to be eerie, it looks kind of like a chihuahua, to be honest. There's a person driving the car. It could very easily be that person. It is a low resolution film. I'm not really sure what they were trying to pen with that. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in this week. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. If you didn't like what we do, hit the thumbs down video or button. I would love some feedback. I know that my videos are really just, I'm human. I'm not really trying to be professional with this. I'm just trying to be, I'm coming down to your level. In fact, I'm coming up to your level because I'm the bottom of the barrel here. So, yeah, if you guys, if you guys want to see more of me, if you want to see more of Nick his production value is much higher. I'm very lazy when it comes to editing and stuff like that. But then again, this is what I'm doing. I'm just looking at ghost videos. I'm not trying to win an Oscar here. Okay, so for best acting. But anyway, yeah, stick around, check out some of our ghost videos, check out some of our paranormal investigations. We do have a second channel that Nick launched called Phantom Files that I believe he's putting compilations of ghost videos together like most of these guys are. I'm not sure if he's still doing that or if it's a side project or what have you. But yeah, go check that out. Maybe check out some of the compilations that he's put together. And then yeah, let us know what you want to see us do. Let us know where you want us to go and investigate. We are Canadian. Keep that in mind. We don't have, like, I have a passport. I can go other places. I don't know if Nick has a passport. We'll figure that out later. But we also don't have the financial stability. Like, we live paycheck to paycheck. I got to pay rent, you know? So if it's close to the Toronto area, we're more than likely able to go out and check it out. But if you guys are recommending places in the States, it's going to be about a year or more before we have the financial stability to actually go and investigate these more interesting places. But yeah, I love all your suggestions. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.